traction. So that's the expectation. I'm excited that we're finally at that point in time. But the Crossroads side, I'm really curious to see how they're going to make this one work, because I thought East Village, where there's no development, made a little more sense.
I thought so too. Because it's north of that area, they obviously thought it was direct competition with P&L. That seemed to be the hang-up. Look, I'm going to try. What I've decided here is I'm going to reserve a little bit of judgment until I see exactly what the plan is. Not just for the stadium, but their eventual verbal plan, I assume, maybe they'll just avoid the topic publicly, of the displacement of businesses.
Like over 100 or 80 plus. Yeah.
There's a lot more in the way. The previous spot really had nothing on it. It was ready to go. They seemingly could have just moved or settled into that location and just accepted that that was the spot that they were going to be and not displace really anybody. This site requires a little bit of that. I think part of here's what I'm hearing. I've talked to, I don't know, 4, I think I was trying to count it up earlier and I was like, was it 3? 4 different people I talked to yesterday. This is the sense of what I think the renderings will look like today, if you're curious, at 2:30. You'll see the big park area that they're putting over 670 that's already being built. That's part of the plans there. Then you'll see the beautiful new downtown stadium. And then for a mile past that, you will see a ballpark district that likely almost reaches to near the edges of the 18th and Vine area, getting you close to like the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, in which they will try to connect those two areas. That's how they'll try to do the business district we've talked about, through housing and businesses that stretch probably or close to that far. Look, I'm not 100%. I can't tell you factually for sure. I haven't seen the plans, but that's what I think their plan is for the pitch on this site.
Yeah, so that makes sense why Bob Kendrick is part of this press conference. Just from a mileage standpoint, we looked it up earlier today. So from roughly the KC Star printing site to the museum would actually be east about a mile and a half east, a 30-minute walk roughly, and a 5-minute drive. But we'll have to see specifically when some of the renderings come out. But yeah, they're gonna have to move some. Eminent domain is definitely going to come into play, right? With some of this.
Probably for something of that size.
Based off of the site. What I'm curious about is...
I would hope that they keep some of the local flavor of Crossroads. There's a lot of small businesses there.
Absolutely.
I like that they're there.
Absolutely. I wonder, with the Power and Light District, the thought had been maybe the reason why the East Village site became was that the city and others were concerned about Power and Light already existing.
Double dipping in the same area.
But let's be real, if we're talking about this entertainment district around...
It's direct competition anyway.
The state, yeah, I mean, it's what, Cody?
10-minute walk to Power Line?
Right. That's what I'm getting at, which I'm like, so is it, unless the district is not going to be quite to the level they once planned. I don't know. These are all things that we're going to find out at the 2:30 press conference this afternoon. But someone mentioning the highway between the museum and the KC Star building. Yeah, on that side, that's why I don't know, Cody, on how they're planning on connecting
that. I don't know.
That.
I think maybe it's more mentally connecting or getting closer to that. You know, like I don't know exactly how they're going to try to lump in those two areas, but they'd like to work that way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I love the renderings when this kind of stuff happens, so I'm fascinated to see exactly what it actually looks like and more of the specifics on that. With them putting this out there, the April 2nd vote, and then you have the early voting. I think that starts the 23rd or something like that this month, roughly. So they're meeting what they've said, which was by February 29th, they would let everybody know this site. So that is happening. Next thing will be the Chiefs. And based on our conversation with Mark Donovan on the show last week, it sounds like maybe they're waiting for this parade to be done with, and we can start to get some more insight on it. Specifically, what do the renovations look like for all three levels at Arrowhead, and then what are they planning on doing in the parking lot? And Mark Donovan had mentioned that maybe like a small little concert stage or something that could be done in the parking lot at Arrowhead near the Kauffman site.
Yeah, we did talk to...
Not a full-blown amphitheater. I think he was very clear to point out.
Yeah, probably something that's like a few thousand seats. Something you could like... This sounds so... But like put a house band on right before tailgating. Oh, look, it's game day, and this band, kind of smaller, will play this venue in front of, you know, the 4,000 people out here tailgate. Whatever it's going to be. I think it'd be more range. I don't think it would be like a full, what you experienced there in Green Bay. we get through all of this Super Bowl stuff, which makes sense. Why would it be any other way? I mean, that is a logical conclusion to jump to when you're, like when you're thinking about where the Chiefs would be. Why would they start working out those things?
Even if you preferred the East Village site versus this site and all that, the one thing, though, that has me the most excited is simply downtown baseball, plain and simple. Doesn't mean that there aren't questions and could this be set up a certain way?
It's a little bit different downtown location than you wanted, but still downtown.
Or set up better or whatever. But if you've been to a baseball game in, I don't know, it's not half the league, but certainly a chunk of the league that has baseball downtown, you know what that experience can be. You get downtown, the game's at 6:10 first pitch, let's say, and it's on a Saturday, even if it's on a work day, but if it's on a Saturday, you go down there, you can get there. Right now, if I'm going to a baseball game as a fan.
You're getting there at 5:30.
The game is 6:10. I'm getting there at 5:30. I know there's some of you out there that tailgate, but let's be real, baseball's not a big tailgating sport. It's not the same setup as what we get at Arrowhead, which is incredible tailgating. But you can tailgate if you want. But a majority of fans at Royals games aren't tailgating. They're just not. We've all seen it. Come on now. So
there's some, but less.
But it's definitely not the majority. And so the idea of being able to go on a 6:10 game and downtown and there's restaurants and bars, I'm more likely to get there at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Cody, and make a whole entire day out of it.
Yeah, and that's the whole point about the 30 minutes. I think in general that sounds like an impossibly long walk. But Gold, if you and your buddies are like, hey, let's hit up, hey, we're going to go to the museum first. Cool. Then you walk 10 minutes down the road, you find your first bar. You walk 10 more minutes down the road, you find your second. And then you walk 10 more minutes down the road and you're at like if you wanted to check them out, you wanted to make a pub crawl out of it. Doesn't sound as bad now, does it, Gold? You're like, no, we're going to find 3 new spots to hit up. We're going to start with the museum. By the way, the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum is free for the entire month of February, thanks to the Kansas City Royals. If you have not been, you should absolutely take advantage of that deal. Drew, you too. And everybody should.
Yeah, I haven't been yet.
Everybody should get a chance to go. The Royals pay for it. The Royals Charities pays for, now I guess it's 3 years in a row.
Oh, great.
So admission is free the month of February. If you've never been to the museum, I highly recommend you do it.
Absolutely.
But I'll be honest, one thing that stood out to me, I've been to like the Twins Park and all that. I've been to downtown baseball stadiums. But Allegiant was a really good reminder. Being in the Raiders stadium was a really good reminder of like how badass a new stadium can be sometimes. I was a little excited about like that part of this possibility. Like, I love Kauffman. I think it's a tremendous venue. I'm sad. I'm sad to see it go when the Royals eventually do move downtown. I'm glad I've got a lot of great memories there. I've told you that. And I think that you could, if Arrowhead could be maintained, why wouldn't you preserve the history of Kauffman? But baseball, honestly, downtown baseball it's a perfect fit. And what you see in some of these new and modern stadiums sometimes is what I saw at Allegiant.
Yeah, the amenities are, and I'm not even I'm not talking about suites or whatever. I'm talking about just in general your radio.
Random question.
For you, Gold. For you, Drew, over in the text line, 913-586-7610. Of course, you can catch us on streams, although we're having some serious internet connectivity issues today.
Yeah, Wi-Fi run a little slower today for whatever reason.
Yeah, I guess too many people in the city Googling Chiefs stuff, costing us the old internet, the old Wi-Fi connection in the building. But, we'll get back up.
Everybody's trying to down highlights from the Super Bowl and stuff.
So typically you can catch us on stream or answer those questions over there. Question I have for you today is, fellas, ladies, properly make the parade also your Valentine's Day thing. I asked that because my wife is considering coming down to where we're broadcasting from the Hotel Indigo, working on some childcare, coming down herself, not with the kids. We brought the kids last year. They're 5 and 7. It's a lot of work.
It's a long day.
And it's even more work because it's not 2 parents handling both kids. It's 1 because I'm on the air the whole time. She said it might be the chance we have to hang out on Valentine's Day. She specifically said that.
No, so I get to go on the date too.
Kinda,
cool.
In that way.
Okay,
so get her something nice.
I see. Somebody has to. You already said you weren't. You already said you weren't planning on it.
So what are we doing? Can we roll? Can we roll the parade into like we did something on Valentine's Day?
I don't know if that
do we need to do
counts.
something separate? Are we shoving it all to the weekend? What's our plan?
So I don't know if your scenario counts because you'll be working, but I'm assuming there are some couples out there that are both diehard fans of the Chiefs. And so they are willing to make that part of their day. And maybe they'll do the dinner on the weekend instead, or maybe they're going to go get dinner afterwards. right? Don't you think? By the time everything's done, 1 o'clock they start speaking of
Sure.
the rally in a perfect way. I would
But
say
it's a long day of day drinking, hypothetically, dude. And all of a sudden now you're going to try to click a dinner in?
We really are making us sound like alcoholics. I mean, I feel like the last 24 hours a week, every conversation is revolved around alcohol. I swear that's
I just
not.
think that happens at parades. I'm not even
yes.
specifically talking about me. I'm just
But
talking in
yes,
general.
most people will, not most people, a lot of people will be drinking during the parade, to say the least. The text line's right. It depends on what you did on a normal basis for Valentine's Day versus this. If you normally don't go out for dinner on Valentine's Day anyway, and you wait till the weekend, then you're good, I think, tomorrow. Maybe you do the flowers tomorrow and you do dinner on Saturday or something. But I don't think you can just write it off. Now, I don't need to get you anything. I don't think that's going to work.
That's a decent excuse, dude. I got to be honest. Of all the get-out-of-jail-free Valentine's Day excuses, sorry we had to attend the Super Bowl parade is a pretty decent
As long as your spouse is also a diehard Chiefs fan.
Yeah, if they're not a football fan, then you got a problem. You got to find a way to manage both.
Text line says, just get hammered and then go home and celebrate, if you know what I mean. That's what
not the
said.
word they used.
Well, I wasn't going to, fine. I was trying to clean it up a little bit.
Well, I mean, you can technically say that.
I know
whole
I
sentence.
can, but I was still trying to.
It said their plan is absolutely get hammered and then bang. That's their plan. That's their plan for Valentine's Day. Is that her plan or your plan, sir? Let's just establish this.
Someone says their wife will go to the parade, maybe a home-cooked Valentine's meal, depending on how drunk they get.
Someone says this person, way ahead of the game, booked a hotel for tonight in downtown.
Beautiful.
We're doing Valentine's Day dinner tonight, walking the parade tomorrow. Look,
well done.
Better than me.
Well
You're
done.
a better person than me. That was smart.
Sounds a little expensive, but well done.
It does, but I mean,
Did you see the hotel rates for tonight? This happens every year around the parade.
No,
People book it. Some of them are $500-$600 tonight because you can wake up tomorrow. We've done this before.
It is appealing.
We were at the Westin last year.
Are they getting cheaper than that? Then maybe I'll just plan on staying down there.
I don't know. Again, we mentioned we're going to be broadcasting 20th in Grand tomorrow from Hotel Indigo. Really looking forward to that. And they'll have the lobby. The lobby bar is going to be opened up tomorrow, and snacks, water available. So stop on by. Make that your spot if you're trying to figure out where to go. Come on and hang out by us, please.
I feel like the parade is you can do it, but it can't replace what you have to have plans to do something or get something for them while also doing it. Because I'm not that you're dragging your wife to the parade or in any of the text line. Not that you're doing you're dragging them. Because obviously, if I were to go to the parade, I'd be like, hey, do you want to do this? If not, it's fine. I'll be gone for a little bit, but we still are going to do make sure that it's not consuming your whole day, sort of a thing. You have to either plan something ahead of time enough where you push it to the weekend, or have something that you do later that night. I think that suffices good enough for you to still go to the parade, but it's not going to replace it.
I do think you're allowed a future date for this one. Although having the day off, maybe Tuesday, is tonight the play?
Day or not, we've seen it. I mean, people will rent hotel rooms downtown the night before every parade. This has happened. We've done this enough in town to know. The hotel lobby the night before is actually really, really cool because it's just packed full of Chiefs fans and everybody's in a great mood and excited. Then you add in the fact that it's Valentine's Day. That's why the hotel rates are crazy this evening, because you're right. People are going to double dip. That's actually a good call. Valentine's Day kind of tonight.
Even if you don't get a hotel, Valentine's dinner tonight, go home, off, especially again, if you got a job that's off tomorrow, you took off for the parade.
Yeah.
Get a little, it's a pretty good setup. It means you can stay out a little bit later tonight,
Someone said got an Airbnb.
Maybe
Sunday,
Carrington.
they got one on
Carrington
Sunday.
lives not that far.
Let's crash at Carrington's place. That would be content. I'll tell you that.
Crash at Carrington's place? How clean do you think it is? 1 out of 10. Text line.
So
Follow-up random
so
question.
Here's where I'm confused.
1 out of 10.
So
what is the
either-
level of neatness? How about that? Neatness you think in Carrington's apartment?
It's one of two things, just knowing how he is around the office and in our interactions with him. It's either completely spotless, actually, and super clean,
Or it's a complete mess.
or it's a mess. You can say, well, obviously, Gold, it has to be one of the two. What I mean by that is, we've joked about on the show, he would tell you, all over the damn desk here in this studio.
shoot up pins.
And shoot up pins. So it either is one of those where that's just how he is at home. It's a 5.5. It's on the cleanliness scale.
He himself as a person seems to be very neat and clean. Like, I never think he looks disheveled or unkept.
No, we're talking about his apartment, not him. Yeah.
No, but I think that's sometimes an extension.
Oh.
Messy or dirty or somewhat, like people who don't seem like they care to take care of themselves a little bit.
Has anybody been to Carrington's apartment? Text in 913-586-7610.
So I'm thinking more like that 5's probably right. I would go higher if I thought generally he didn't take care of, like, his shoes look cleaner, his clothes, like if he were a little more generally like uncaring about his appearance, I would think that
I'm
his
just
apartment's
judging
a
it
little
based
messy.
off of his workspace.
Look, his workspace is not a good indicator, or it is a good indicator.
Or I should say,
it would not be
I
a
should
good
say our
guess.
workspace.
Yeah,
that is
it's
not
a
his.
shared workspace.
Plural.
Yeah.
I've hung out with Carrington, but I've not been to his place
Oh.
before.
Okay.
Wait, you guys hung out?
Yeah, we went to Weston. And
You didn't tell us
I
this.
I thought I was.
What's with Carrington and Weston? He likes
He
Weston
loves
a lot.
Weston.
He loves Weston. He
Weston's
is.
fun.
I will be honest. He did not tell me we were going to Weston. So
Wait, so you said let's hang out, and then he had you drive 40 minutes north
no.
or whatever it is, 30 minutes north?
I met him at his place, and then I left my car like parked on the street, and then we drove. He didn't tell me where we were going. So halfway through this drive, we're like 30 minutes in. I'm like,
Where the hell are you taking
I was like,
me?
honestly, like what is happening right now?
So you've been to Weston, but you haven't been to Gates.
Yeah, because I don't
Interesting.
voluntarily go to places very much. Like if I'm going with somebody, fine.
Someone says, my prediction is he has a chair, a TV, a bed, no art on the walls. Just hasn't hung up a thing.
I don't have a ton of stuff on my walls either. I've got a couple memorabilia pieces, and that's it. My the walls aren't completely full on my apartment either. I've got like 1, 2, 3.
You've lived for
Yeah,
like 3
4.
years. Put some stuff on your walls. Hey.
Yeah.
So it doesn't
I have
look like
I-
Patrick Bateman's place.
No, but
Make
like,
it look like you like living.
it doesn't look trashy. It's not like college chief stuff all over. I have nice framed memorabilia.
It's not cheapy. It's not. You don't have like a.
Yeah, it doesn't look trash. I didn't randomly. I don't have 100 bobbleheads on the wall. Okay, it's I think it's
classy
clean.
sports
It's
stuff.
clean. Yeah.
But you'd still have to. You understand that if you ever lived with a girl, that you'd have to minimize that amount to a smaller number.
If it was an apartment, yeah. If it was a house, I think there could be spot down in the basement or something where we could have a corner at least.
Yeah, a corner, a corner.
If not a full-on man cave or whatever.
Someone says, I think his place is clean. He's just a slob where yours everywhere else. I'm curious now. I'll have to ask Carrington how clean he keeps his place. I got 2 kids, man. It goes through various stages.
Yeah, well, that's understandable, Cody. You have kids that are making a mess
Sometimes
every
it's
5
a
minutes.
disaster. Sometimes it's not a disaster. It varies wildly in my
I think
house.
people get that. I mean, you clean the house, and then 20 minutes later, your kids have made a mess in the same room. I think there's an understanding there.
Yeah, pretty consistent.
Someone says the reason why Gold doesn't have stuff on his walls, you have to pay more. This is true. I don't hang the framed stuff on my own. That's very true.
I'll say this: Gold's fridge is immaculate due to the fact that it's empty 99% of the time. There's not been a missed sauce in there or some leftovers. It had like 2 things in it the last time I went over there. It was literally just like a 6-pack of beer, a water pitcher, and some string cheese.
That's about
there
right.
There was literally nothing else in it the last time.
I'm trying to think what right now out before I left for Vegas. It has the water pitcher, Cody, and it has I don't know like 12. Yeah, I get 12-pack of beer. That's all it's in there right at this exact second. That's about right.
Is it a full 12-pack?
No, it's individual cans.
Okay, so there's like
It's a mix.
There's like 7. Oh, I see.
There's like
There's like 7 left or something.
there's like still 4 Busch Light Peach, and there's like some
Whoa,
Coors
you
Light.
gotta save those for next summer
There's
now.
some Coors Lights, maybe a Boulevard Wheat or 2 in there. Anyway, that's the random question of the day. Up next, though, the underrated Super Bowl storyline that exists, and what do we expect from Travis Kelce tomorrow?
Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 610 Sports Radio and the Odyssey app.
We're talking with Dr. David Bach, board-certified urologist at Kansas City Urology Care. What's the most important thing men should know about prostate cancer?
I would strongly recommend PSA testing. It's a simple blood test. It's inexpensive, and basically every male over 50 should be having this PSA once a year. Prostate cancer is the second leading cancer killer of men.
And why should they go to KCUC?
We not only treat more prostate cancer than anyone else in this part of the country, we also start with cutting-edge diagnostics to offer the most precise diagnoses of prostate cancer using ultrasounds and MRI. We can offer surgical, medical, and radiation types of treatments. And even for men who require additional therapies, we're able to offer all that at a single site.
Get your PSA level tested by the experts. Kansas City Urology Care. At KCUC, you see the best in KC. To make an appointment, visit appointments.kcurology.com.
96 years. That's how long Overhead Door Company of Kansas City has been repairing and replacing garage doors. They are the only authorized dealer of Overhead Door brand products in Kansas City. Locally owned and operated since 1927, headquartered in Olathe. Always look for the iconic red ribbon to be sure you're dealing with the genuine, original Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. For same-day repair service 24/7, call Overhead Door Company of Kansas City or schedule online at ohdkc.com. ohdkc.com.
Made to Shine. Love stories from Shane Company customers.
My wife's been working long weekends, so instead of just taking her out to dinner on Valentine's Day, I'm going to surprise her with a gift from Shane Company. I stopped by, and they showed me some really beautiful